Hello. So what I've been working on today is, and the last couple of days is this is ESP32 S3. It's a microcontroller, and what this does is it replaces the digital design that I was going to do. Because I mean, I could probably still use it, and there's other things I could use, but this microcontroller has a lot of stuff on it that I can use. Like it has ADD converters, so I probably won't need the relay board to be able to take these measurements. I can just have them all plugged into here and just take the measurements. But it has sensors. You can press buttons, and it'll turn stuff on and off. You can turn these to inputs and outputs. It has a D to A converter as well, and it has all kinds of stuff on there. Some Bluetooth, and it has Wi-Fi. So I'm going to mess around with that a little bit as well. But this is just a start. I've worked on it for like the last 2.5 days, maybe 3 days now. Most of the time I spent just trying to get the compiler to work with the interface, the hardware interface, software interface, which is this. It took forever to get that to work. But once I started to work, like this code, I got this part of this code from somebody else, plugged it in, it worked. And that's how I made sure this thing works. And I'll show you that it works. It's pretty neat. This is the code that's loaded. I just plugged it into here. And the other thing is, it has a USB interface here, which is, and it has another one here, which is where I can, a serial port interface where I can talk to it. So I can program it with one side and talk to it with the other side. It took a long time to figure that out as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and program another code which I've loaded, which is this code, the serial read. And this has a whole bunch of, it has this part mixed in with a lot of other stuff, GPIO control and stuff like that. And I'll go ahead and add that in here. I'll just do, I've already done the build. I'll just upload it to this device, and you'll see this light will turn off once I do that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now this is all in C++. But you can see it's building right now. So, and it's doing the serial read folder, which is this one right here. That's this. This is what I want to use for the C# software I wrote to talk to this. So most of the work is done inside of the microcontroller. It's being loaded into the microcontroller. When it's done, it'll work. You just plug it in, set it to 5 volts. It'll start working, and then or 3.3 volts. You could do either one, but it'll just automatically start working after it's loaded. So you'll see it's building in the release mode right now. You'll see it'll start loading here in a second. It'll be writing to the EEPROM inside of the device. It's a microcontroller. And this one is the ESP32 S3, so it has the most features. They said this is the most popular one to use, and it's also, it has more features and it has more support than some of the others. Plus, there's a lot of good videos. Now it's writing to memory. Plus, there's a lot of good videos to help get started with this. It took me a few days to get started. So now it's looks like it's loaded and says success. So you can see the lights are just solid red now, so you can tell it's done something. Now I'll unplug this, and I can close this part of it down at this point. And what I have in the background is Visual Studio. I have it running, and this is the C# code I wrote to go with this. And you can see there's very few things on here. Very few things. All I'm doing is I'm calling these things. So color 0, color 1. These are things I wrote to make it perform whatever function I wanted it to do. So I'll plug it into the other port now, which will be for the UART, and it's going to be able to communicate. And I'll hold this up as I go through this. I'll go ahead and press start. To show you that the relays are working, I'll have to take a few minutes, and I'll come back, but I'll have to solder the wires on here to connect it to the relay board to show you that it's working. But this is a standalone little microcontroller. You can do a lot of things with this. So you can see I have this thing set up with LEDs off. So I'll go ahead and set it to, I'll set it to red and turn it on red. I'll set it to green. Now it's green. I'll set it to blue. Now it's blue. And then I'll go ahead and test all colors. Okay, so that's just a little, part of the C# software. The relays, they do work. What it does is it's turning GPIOs on and off right now, or a wheel. If I select one of them, it'll turn them on. But I don't want to do that right now. I'd rather have the wires connected to this and show you that it's working while it's connected. So I'll take a few minutes. I'll stop this video and I'll restart after I solder some wires onto this board. Hello. So I've come back and I've soldered a few wires onto this. I've powered it on with 5 volts. Now, this controller is currently being powered by the USB on the board or from the computer, but you can use the 5-volt supply to power that as well. There is a warning about the GPIO inputs. You have to use a level translator to do the 3.3 volts. They can only handle 3.3 volt inputs. For if you select them as inputs, or you can damage the board. That was a warning I read about it. So it will work with the GPIO outputs on this. It accepts 3.3 to 5 volts for the relay board, but I have a 5-volt supply going to the relay board, and the only thing connected is the 4 inputs from the relay board to the ESP32, and then I connect the ground to keep a common ground. 5 volts is only being supplied to this at this point in time. It can be standalone if you want the 5 volts to go to the ESP32. I haven't tried that yet. I looked at the documentation and said it works. Basically, this is it's the same software. It's still running, and you have to remember the code that's running inside the ESP32. That's the code I wrote with the Visual Studio Code. It's in C++. This is just something to control it, to interface with it. So now you can see that it's running. I'll show you the LEDs still work. It's 1 LED, there's 2 LEDs, there's 3 LEDs. And if I do this, it'll test all the colors again. And now what you'll see is, the relays work now. So I can select between relays. So now I'm controlling GPIOs. Before I was only controlling just the LEDs, changing the LED to different colors and stuff like that. Now I'm controlling GPIOs, and I'm only controlling 4 of them. There's several GPIOs on this board, and there's A to D converters, D to A converters. You can do a lot of stuff with this board. So anyway, that's just a small, display of what I can do with this. And this is in C#. It took me a couple of days. One of the big things that took me a long time was figuring out that to communicate with this board through the serial interface, I have to use the UART input, and you have to enable a flag. I had to look that up. It took a long time to figure that out, but that's pretty good for a first time, I think. I'm going to continue with this because there's also Wi-Fi and there's Bluetooth that comes with this chip. So I'm going to use that as well. So have a good day. This is the ESP32. It's an S3 version, and it's only $14. That's a $14 microcontroller. This board was only $8. So that's not bad for something that can control a lot of stuff. Plus these relays, they can handle 110 volts, and they can also handle 220 volts, these relay outputs. So I thought that's pretty neat. So have a good day.